Page 28, Spooky Story. One chart, we're in the key of E minor here. Make sure you can do the scales, the G major scale and the E minor scale. They both have one sharp, and you just as well do the arpeggios for them too. At least one octave on the arpeggio, preferably 2 octaves on the arpeggio. Don't do the advanced, just forget it. We're not there yet. 2 octaves is fine. All you're interested in is getting accustomed to the arpeggio itself, and 2 octaves will do that fine. Here the counting's pretty of eighth notes. You can handle that, I hope, with 4/4 time. First, let's play it all evenly and get the notes all connected, pretty much. So it's here. So it's this fingering, and then second measure or second line, you got to come down and put thumb on that to connect these. They're half notes. So you have rests in the first line, but half notes in the second. So and how you finger it, this third line, they say 4th finger. That's fine. You can put a thumb on the A and then a 2 on. Doesn't matter, just finger it, it's alright. The last line on page 28, it's A sharp B, and then an A natural. And the left hand will give you the rhythm for the right hand. It's just playing them together, that's all. They're going on, 29, this rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Hopefully that's not a problem. This pattern. This is a sequence we're going down. So forth. They want 3rd finger again. Oh, I don't recommend it. Use 4th finger. This is the top of page 29 in the first line. The first measure is fine. But when you go to the second measure, they want 3rd again? No. Use 4th and then go ahead and use 2nd. You're just going from here to here. That's all. I don't like using the same finger like that. You can if you want to, but and then 2nd. 3rd finger. 3rd line, same thing. 4th finger. The last measure, crossover. Just per 1 note. Because you got to go back to the beginning. And that's what I'm recommending on the fingering. The right hand is fine. If you want to finger it that way, in the second line, there on page 29, if you want a 2nd finger instead of thumb, that's fine. You can do that. You can even use 1 and 4 in the second measure, the 1st and 3rd lines if you want, whichever. And at the bottom, the last measure, I'd use 2 and 5, not 1. You can use 1 and 5 if you want. Nothing wrong with it. The articulations, short staccatos, wrist staccato here. You're connecting the right hand. Now, when you go on page 28 from the second line to the 3rd line, you're here and here. You can play the first note in the 3rd line with thumb and then 2nd finger, because you played the last note in the 2nd line with 4th finger, the thumb is there. You can do that. That's fine. So again, the 2nd line, connect it. Couple of things. On the 3rd line, it's hard to do a and a legato at the same time. At least it is for me. Do the best you can with it though. And then the last line on page 28, I have a little problem there. They got accents on those quarter notes. They're not staccato. Give them a little extra oomph. The problem I have with it is they're pedaling this. And I would recommend don't pedal this. I think they're doing it because of they want the overtones. But if you're going to pedal it, I suggest you pedal it with each note. Pedal goes down with the note and up with the note, down with the hand. Separate them. Otherwise, don't pedal it. And then staccato. And then so forth. On page 29, you're pretty much connected. They want you to separate each. Okay, you can do that. I don't like that. I really don't. I would prefer, it's too choppy. I don't like it phrased a measure at a time like that. You can just connect it all together. And then at the end of the second line, lift up. But however you do, it's up to you. First, play it the way it's written. And then later on, you can get into it, you may change it. Then in the last line on page 29, it's here. Staccato, and then connect these eighth notes. And connect them to the, when you DC, connect it to the E at the beginning. So it's here. Like so, it's connected all together. Dynamic wise, it's mostly the right or the left hand here. And it's very soft. Now suddenly you're moderately loud and you go back down to very soft. So each of these is getting soft. Moderately loud, moderately soft, soft, very soft. There, yeah. And the right hand just stays under it, whatever it is. And then the third line you're very soft. You're going to get louder, you're going to go up to loud for the fourth line. I don't like accents on loud notes. Just play them loud, and then very soft. And that's important, loud, and then loud. Both hands here can kind of be the same. It's the last measure on 28, but come down to soft, very soft. See, they put the soft, the very soft at the end. You have no control over it by then, so you're going to have to play the last notes very soft. That's the only thing you can control, like so. That's all you can do. On page 29, it's the left hand that's moderately soft. The right hand needs to be soft or softer. And you don't have to stay exactly at moderately soft. You can get up a little louder and softer as you feel it eventually. And then at the end, you're come back down to very soft. There. Speed-wise, well, it's kind of a low. Andante moderato is just a leisure moderato on the leisure side of the middle, somewhere in there. They say mysteriously. Good luck with that. But you do what you know. I don't know. Yeah, so that's where I feel it. That's where I play it. Maybe that's too fast. I don't know. However, I got to add one more thing, and that is the note at the beginning here. Very important, they said, very important. Play both hands an octave lower, all the way, everything. It's like both studs had an 8VA under them. You play it all. So instead of here, just pretend middle C is here on the piano, and you play it all down here. So it's here. And this messes me up. Here, instead of here, I'm going to be here. Makes the very softs even more difficult because the lower you get, the harder it is to play soft. The louds are easy. You have to watch out on the louds or they get overpowered too much. So at the bottom of the page on the louds, don't get too carried away on those. I would recommend on the DC Alfini here, when you go back, that you don't repeat it second time, that you go back and just play page 28 again once. I mean, I guess you could repeat it if you wanted to, but in many cases, in most cases, you don't do the repeats on a DC or DS. Now, people don't agree on that. Some say, oh, yes, you do. But most people, I think, and I agree with them, is that you don't, unless the music tells you to. Sometimes you have to. It's the form of the piece, and you'll get an idea of form of the piece. Pieces have form, structure, and you'll get an idea whether it really needs to be repeated or not. In this case, I recommend you do not repeat it again.